How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite Gen Con Tabletop Gaming News Show. You might be wondering, hang on a second. It's April 1st. Is this some kind of joke? Where's my other two favorite co-hosts, Bonsai and Noir? Well, unfortunately, they couldn't be with us today. They were too afraid of all the shenanigans and tricks that we're going to be playing. So we are joined once again by the fabulous Peter Adkison. And oh my goodness, who is this devilishly handsome, wickedly talented, sultry man sitting over here? This is Markus. Markus, hi. You are a producer, but now you're sitting in the seat and you're on camera.
Yeah. Weird, huh?
It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. I'm so glad you're on the show with us. I've been wanting this forever.
Oh,
I'm so glad we can do the show together.
My pleasure. I'm so happy to be here.
What is that? What is that around your neck? What is that necklace?
Oh, what's around my neck here? It's a let me zoom in. It's a Millennium Charm necklace from the Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's what I thought it was.
Series. So yeah, that's what I'm about. In case you're ever wondering about that, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! And we'll get to it with the news.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to hear more. But how have you been this week?
Me? Oh, I've been really, really good. So what I've been doing was I met a dog. There was a dog that was just like skateboarding down from my apartment, and it taught me how to do a kickflip. Like, it was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. Obviously, the language barrier was a little tough, so I didn't really get all the tricks of it, but this dog was able to ride on a skateboard and jump up on it. I kind of got it down. There's some video footage of it. You have to check it out.
Okay.
I'll post it on my Twitter account. But yeah, that, and I've been playing a lot of Dark Tower, or Return to Dark Tower, from Restoration Games. I want to do the Javion thing where I hold up the box.
Yay!
This is a
This
is a really, really fun game. We got to play with Noir and Ruel at Gen Con last year, and I love it. I'm all about this. It's a really fun
so
game.
good. It's so good.
That's awesome. It looks really cool. Well, you got to show it to me sometime.
Will do.
All right. Well, Peter, thank you for joining us again. Sorry we couldn't have you last week, but we're so glad to have you back.
I know our show's been plagued with internet issues of people like, I was at GaryCon, the hotel room where I was in, the connection was so bad. I think because the streaming programs were hogging all the bandwidth, and like my upload speed was like 0.5 megabits per second or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, okay, yeah, this is like, if I would have been like texting just in ASCII, maybe I could have kept up with the conversation. But no, so thank you for covering me for me last week. I'm so glad to be back in Seattle and back with you.
It's good to see you. I hope you had a good time here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, just in case anybody out there is curious about what I was up to this past week,
Yes.
I was in Minnesota. I was on a trip to see a very good, important person in my life. His name's Danny, and we went out and we played mini golf indoors with some black lights. We rewatched Batman because I'd already seen it and he hadn't, so of course we had to watch it again. Happy to. Amazing movie. We got brunch with the boys, and I bought some board games. I bought the duo version of Blockus. I also got an expansion to Terraforming Mars, which I've got some interesting news about later, but I won't say anything. I'm just going to
Spoilers.
Keep you in anticipation. All right. Well, thanks for that check-in, but now it's time for the headlines. Peter, why don't you start us off with a very exciting Gen Con announcement?
Okay, so this is like a big Gen Con, and I'm probably preaching to the choir. Everybody's probably heard the news about this already because it is just going through social media like crazy because Gen Con, we've announced that there will be an expansion to Gen Con this year underneath the convention center. Yes, there is an underground portal beneath the convention center to the Netherworld. And now I have to admit, I've known about this for a long time. I first found this portal by accident when I got lost looking for the restrooms during my first site visit to Indianapolis. And this has been like a responsibility I've had to carry all this time, like a terrible weight. But we couldn't tell anybody about it because it was very unstable for a very long time because there was like this unknown source of energy. Now, I've always contested it as primal energy, like in the first book we published at Wizards called The Primal Order. I'm pretty sure it was a callback to that, but I can't really prove that. But now I finally fulfilled the unfathomable pact I made with the voiceless consciousness that lives beneath the portal all those years ago. So I'm glad, and I can promise you that it's going to be totally safe for attendees to come. We've made a pact with Gromgar, an omnipotent demon. But there will be. I don't think there's going to. I don't think anything bad is going to come from that. I'm pretty sure it'll all be fine. Oh, yeah. And I also have a press release quote from Chris Lack, who is a representative of the insectoid creatures who inhabit the floating gelatinous islands in the region just beyond the portal. Chris Lack says, "We believe that our participation in Gen Con Underworld this year will foster a new beginning for relations among sentient beings, demonstrating that no matter who you are, where you have come from, and when you may or may not have lived or have been said to have been alive, there's always room for you to connect and play and feel accepted at the gaming table." That's true. Yeah. And also there's new merch. So
yay!
Yeah. Yeah, you weren't in the circle of trust yet, Marcus. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. No, it's all clear. We can talk about it openly now.
Well, I'm scared. I did not realize that this was going on. I heard about some renovations, but I had no idea it was going to be to this extent. I think I'm most excited for the merch, though, because I can't imagine what you guys would come up with to sort of showcase all of the new beings that we've discovered, apparently, or I guess have been around for a while. We're just now getting around to hang out.
Like, technically, did they discover us?
I don't know.
Yeah, what came first, the underworld or us?
Well, it's a portal. Like, yeah, it's always hard to tell these things.
It's kind of a gateway.
Especially when there's time loops involved. That's not to think about that too much, right? Just go watch Star Trek a bit.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
That sounds about right.
Well, this is exciting news, and I cannot wait to see how it affects not only Indianapolis Gen Con, but how it affects my wallet when I buy all this wonderful Gen Con merch. Gen Con Underworld merch is incredible. I'll drop a link in the chat so you can see it. Fantastic stuff here all around.
Yeah. So see you below.
All right. Well, thank you, Peter. I'm very excited for Gen Con this year. Oh, man. All right, here's another thing to get excited about. There's a new game announcement that Mark is ready to tell us about. Go for it.
Hi, my name is Marcus. I just said my name. I didn't need to do that before every single one. I haven't done this before. So Asmodee announces the release of Azul Queen's Garden. So Azul, it's the newest game in the Azul series. It will be released April 15th. If you're unfamiliar what Azul is, it was released in 2017, and it is kind of an abstract strategy game where you're in charge with decorating Portugal's royal palace. This is really, really cool because I love the history. This game is a lot about the history of King Manuel I, and kind of discovering the tiles in Alhambra, and kind of asking them to be all over his walls. That's not exactly how it went, but so the game that came out in 2018, which we've also covered on this channel before, which was Azul Stained Glass of Sintra. That is what that one was about. This one is a little different, though, because it's the Queen's Garden. So you're returning to the Palace of Sintra, where the King of Portugal has commissioned the construction of an elaborate and lush garden for his wife, Queen Maria of Aragon. Not Aragon the dragon, and not Aragorn the guy from Lord of the Rings. We're talking about that place that's just a little bit east of Madrid, where Bonsai is headed to, actually, right now. So Bonsai's in Spain, and that's why I'm here, in case you guys are wondering. But yeah, so basically what you're going to be in charge of doing is making the best garden you can, using the pieces, selling tiles, getting getting the beautiful. If you look actually at the image, I'll drop the link in chat. If you look at the image, the consistency of this game's art and the components for this game are beautiful. I just love looking at it.
This is a fantastic. I can't wait for this. I'm a big fan of the Azul line. We have the original. We have the first expansion. So we'll definitely be getting the next one. And I mean, I don't know how long they can keep doing Azul titles, but I think it can. There's room for one more. The game mechanics between the original and the first expansion, they both had a similar theme, but they were both different enough that like every time we go to play Azul, it's like, which one are we going to play? We want to play them both. In fact, last time we hit the table, we actually ended up playing both in one night. It was a great game. So, yeah.
Javion, have you ever played Azul?
Yeah, I have. I love the first one. I really like the second one, Stained Glass Essentra. They do a really good job of making each one of them just different enough that it feels like a new game. Plus, I don't always get to see a game designed so beautifully based off of something so made so long ago. Because typically you'll find like a lot of colonialism themes or conquest and conquering themes. Whereas, you know, it's hard to find like pattern building or like, you know, a fantastical decoration based game. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm really excited for this new one.
Well, if you're excited about it like we are, this will be retailing on April 15th in the US for players 2 to 4 players and ages 10 and up. So yeah, that is what I have for this headline. Javion, do you have something you want to talk about? Anything like small, big, anything?
Yeah. Let's talk about something just a little miniature. For all you folks out there who love D&D, there are some awesome new miniatures on the way from WizKids. You might be familiar with D&D's Nulzur's Marvelous Miniatures character packs. Well, WizKids is unveiling 5 new character packs for Nulzur's Marvelous Miniatures, as well as 2 D&D Icons of the Realm Strixhaven miniatures sets. And you're getting a ton of new miniatures to choose from. So the Nulzur's Marvelous Miniatures pack is actually going to be coming out in July this year. It's going to feature highly detailed figures of all new heroes, including those from the often less played races, some of the more rare ones like Aarakocra and Drow. They've also got a human cleric featured in masculine and feminine forms in a wheelchair, which is going a long way to show a little bit more of inclusivity in our miniatures. You can also find a bunch of, I think, metallic ones for that inclusive feel that are still in wheelchairs as well. I think there are some other lines that do that same thing. You can also see in the character packs, we're also going to have halfling barbarians, Aarakocra paladins, drow fighters, and dragonborn clerics. Each of those 2 count character packs, you're going to get both a masculine form and a feminine form, retailing for $4.99 coming this July. Also coming soon, we've got, like I said, the Strixhaven miniatures, which are going to be based on characters from the Strixhaven, A Curriculum of Chaos module. And if you'll remember, Strixhaven is all about the 5 colleges of Lorehold, Silverquill, Prismari, Quandrix, and the Ivy one. I can't remember. Which one was it? Witherbloom. That's right. Yeah. So you probably remember that my favorite house is Quandrix because it's all about math magic. So I'm excited for the Quandrix student, but you can also see they've got students in every different college from Lorehold all the way over to Witherbloom. And also a first-year student if you want to have something that's a little bit more neutral. So you're also going to get some strange creatures that you can only find in the Strixhaven module, such as Daemogoth, Groff, Auric Blood Mage, Cogwork, Archivist, Trudge, and Murgaxer. These are some really cool miniatures that span. Did I say one of them wrong?
I just loved how you said it, honestly.
You just said so enthusiastically. I just like, woohoo, yeah, sign me up.
Really cool names. And I would use literally any one of these as like a name for like an evil villain, like wizard or something like that. That's one thing D&D is really good at. You can get any of the sets for $44.99 in retail coming to local game store near you. And I think that the artwork is really nice, but they also make sure to give them deep cuts so that they're a little bit easier to paint. So they're really showing a big range, right, of miniatures built not only for different sort of fringe character players, right, for those like Aarakocra and Drow, but also including some of like the newer players who are either feeling like maybe D&D isn't for them. They get somebody who sort of represents the character that they want to play. It's always good to have a big variety of different characters to choose from.
So I finally, okay, I have an embarrassing thing to admit. Like, I couldn't for a while, like Nulzur's Marvelous Miniatures. Like, where have I heard? And then I remember, oh, Nulzur's Marvelous, pigments from AD&D, right? Yeah. And then I'm like, well, what's the connection? Well, then, of course, now I understand pigments, painting, miniatures. I get it now. Okay, I'm finally caught up with everybody else.
So I actually really love the look of some of these. I want to give a shout out. I'm not sure if this is what it's actually based off of, but I want to give a shout out to @MustangArt on Twitter, who I believe did the combat wheelchair. So it's nice to see the first time I've ever seen an actual miniature of it. One also note about these is that they are completely primed and ready to paint, which is also awesome for those people who don't want to buy or just getting into painting. Speaking of painting, check out our show, Kathy's Paints. But also, I was surprised to find that the Aarakocra, which is the bird race, was not a super play. Like, people didn't jump for that one. I would, in a heartbeat, jump to play a big blue falcon named Falco. Like, I would do that at any point. So, like, I am very excited about this now, and I don't even own miniatures. I'm going to start buying miniatures, I think.
If you like the bird creatures, you should also check out the Owlet that came out with the Into the Feywild module that came out recently.
Oh,
so now you can play as owls as well. Like, there's a ton of options if you want like winged creatures.
I do like birds. I've always wanted to play a bird, so yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, so make sure you keep your eye out for some of those cool new miniatures coming out in July. That's only 2 months away. Okay, we got another headline here coming from Peter, all the way from New York.
So excited about this. When this one showed up on the agenda, my fingers were shaking because I was in such a hurry to type my name by it because I wanted to talk about this. The Escape from New York board game is coming out. Yes, Escape from now. Maybe if you're, hopefully you remember the movie. It was 1981. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too far back but 1981. John Carpenter, the legendary filmmaker, made this great movie called Escape from New York with Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken. And he's like this special forces guy who's, I don't know, he got into some sort of trouble. He got dishonored and kicked aside, and stuff like that. But they call upon him for this important mission because in the world of Escape from New York, there's total war happening and the entire island of Manhattan has been turned into like a prison. Like a penal colony where they just like, this crime rate's gone off the charts. I mean, I know this is inconceivable. This could never happen, right? But no, it happens in this movie. But what happens is that the president of the United States, who's flying an Air Force One nearby, gets hijacked and his escape pod lands, you guessed it, in New York City. And he's got this secret cassette with information on it about nuclear fusion that he's going to give to the Russians as a peace deal or not give to, I don't know. Anyway, the president is in the penal colony, Manhattan. And of course, who do they hire? Snake Plissken to go into Manhattan and rescue the president and get the secret tape. And this movie's got, he's got not only Kurt Russell, it's got Lee Van Cleef in it. It's got Ernest Borgnine. It's got Adrienne Barbeau. It's just a great romp of a movie. So in the board game, you get to play. I mean, I don't know how you decide who gets to play Snake Plissken. I guess if I owned the board gaming and it was my house, then I could insist that it's me because it would, that's how you do it. And you the players, you go after and try to rescue the president and get the tape back and give it to Chinese, maybe. I don't know. What did you So that's the game. So I don't know. Check it out. It's got. I mean, I imagine it's gonna be kind of linear. Like you can like go get the president each time, right? I don't know, but anyway, seems fun. Me.
I wonder if it's gonna be kind of like an escape room game because those are so popular right now. I don't know because if there's like mysteries involved or if there's like secret like I don't know hidden clues and messages hidden through
Yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, has anybody done an escape room from New York? I mean, that's a. Oh my God, that's a good. That's great. No, no, please, because we'll never get around to it. So please take our idea. Please, please take our idea so we don't have to do it. I would hate to have to do that one too.
Escape from New York, new board game by Pendragon Game Studio.
Yeah, Pendragon Game. Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Javion.
All right. Well, that sounds like a very exciting board game.
So
I'm glad. Marcus, tell us about a new board game that I know you're very excited about. Hey Marcus, I'm sorry. I'm gonna pause you real second. I think the chat's saying you're muted.
Yeah, I am muted. This is great.
You might have to start.
This
that
is
was
great.
Beautiful. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Get that over. I want everybody to hear that.
There we go. Javion, would you introduce me again? Let's start this over.
Okay, let's start one more time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Marcus, tell us about a board game you're very excited about.
Well, Javion, I would absolutely love to do that. In 1989, Parker Brothers released Taboo, a word and parting guessing game where the objective is for players to have their partners guess the word on the player's card without using the word itself or additional words listed on the card. Now, in this year, 2022, Sean Patrick Kane will release Tattoo, a reinvention of sorts, but it's more of a direct hack of the classic board game Taboo with an RPG twist. This is really fun for me. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the twists and turns of this game, what makes it a little more of an RPG and a little less of just a straight hack of this, is Tattoo will use Taboo's answer cards as prompts for players' tattoos. The would-be artists are looking to satisfy the client's design, where each round, one player, the client, must describe their ideal ink using the cards without using the no-no words listed on each card, the words that you cannot give them that would be technically the answer. So the twist on this is each player will take a part of the reality TV show called Tattoo Inc. So players will play as the designers, the artists competing to be the top player, while one of the player will play as the producer of the show. So basically, you can get extra RPG points or extra experience points by doing like little interviews, how they do on reality shows, like floating heads and such, to get extra bonus points for this. But for the most part, it's just a fun party game that might give you some tattoo ideas. I'm a big fan of party games. I like games that bring people together. Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
I have a question. I mean, okay, yeah. Here's the crux of it. Do you get to draw on each other?
So that's the thing. You don't, but I think you can. And that's like, I have so many talented artist friends that I'm like, oh, hey, let's play this game. Just give me some tattoo. You can just trace over my skin. I'm not going to go to the tattoo parlor and get those like.
I just need some safety rules in place, for sure. But I mean, we can draw on each other. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So this is a really, really cool little game. If you want it right now, it's $5 from Kane's itch page right now. You just hop on down there. There's also going to be a limited run for a hard copy in May. If you want it, pre-orders are available at the moment. But overall, I think this is a fun party game, lots of replayability, very light character creation. So it's anyone, even if you don't like RPGs, you can get into this. I also like games that have like a little bit of a role play element to them to bring people who don't role play in, because people like playing. They just might not know the role-playing term might be a little heavy for them. So this is a good little break into that. So yeah, check this out. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I could definitely see this being like a really good game for like streaming. Like I don't mean to like wink too much to the camera, but I could definitely see like this interactivity like being implemented with like the chat and stuff like that, because you're sort of mixing those two genres, like you were saying. With storytelling, role playing, but also like Taboo. I mean, I played that game as a kid.
Same here.
That was like one of my first board games that I actually got to play all the time with my family. So I love the concept. This is really cool.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna bring it to Gen Con Underworld this year. Like I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna pick it up and just bring it. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
So
just make sure you bring like a lantern or some sort of light source.
I was gonna do kind of like the Dark Souls Elden Ring thing where you just type the lantern to your waist and just kind of walk.
Oh
through.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas how to navigate the depths. But yeah, that is Tattoo by I'm forgetting this. Sean Patrick Kane. I have too much. I'm doing things. I'm looking. Everything's going very well. Javion.
We appreciate it. Don't worry, Marcus. All right, yeah. Let me take over and tell you about Restoration Games' new addition to the Unmatched series. Restoration Games has just revealed 2 Marvel expansions to the Unmatched lineup. Are you ready to hear all the new Marvel characters coming to Unmatched? So,
yeah.
In the Redemption Row expansion, we're getting Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, and Luke Cage, as well as a battle map for The Raft. It also comes with new item tokens that produce very potent effects that you have to check out. It's going to retail for $50. And the second expansion, Hell's Kitchen, is going to be featuring, of course, the iconic Daredevil and Elektra, as well as the villain Bullseye. Seems to be really cool. You're also going to get to see Elektra with her special abilities. If she's ever taken down, she'll come back more powerful in the sort of like resurrection style. You can also pit Daredevil and Bullseye against each other, so you can play the game right out of the box instead of having to mix and match. You don't have to buy like any base games and things like that. But the Unmatched series is already so expansive that the whole point is that you mix weird characters fighting against each other. Like characters from Jurassic Park series fighting against like a strange mythical creature from like Asian horror and things like that. I played a little bit of Unmatched myself for some of you that maybe don't know. It's a really simple game. It's all about moving these miniatures and any minions that you have across the board, sort of area control, attacking each other with cards. And it's really just kind of like a numbers game, but it's so simple. And each character is very asymmetric, right? So you have one character that might just be playing by themselves and can like morph and transform into different ways or turn invisible and teleport. It's all about controlling your movement, but it's also seeing how your opponent's deck is going to play against yours, the sort of dichotomy of like the combos and strategy that you can mix with different weird IPs. I don't really get how Restoration Games has built up such a huge catalog of different characters. Because seriously, you have like Bruce Lee and freaking like Sherlock Holmes and like Watson. Like that's so weird to me, but it's really, really cool. They're adding in Marvel stuff, so you know that this is gonna get super like huge, just like the villain series. I think actually.
Yeah, Bruce Lee, really? I mean, I just perked up. I mean,
yeah.
Well, so when are they going to get the Shrek one? Because I've been thinking about this ever since 2001, where I sat down in that theater for that movie. Who would win in a fight between Bruce Lee and Shrek? Little Marcus still wants to know. So Unmatched, if you want that, just please.
Oh man,
give me that, please. Just
man, this is gonna end up being like the Smash Brothers of like.
Oh my gosh, that would be really fun. Actually,
weirdest matchups. This is so cool. Yeah, so this is great for anybody who already owns some of the Unmatched games. But like I said, you can play them right out of the box. Each of them come with 3 characters. If you have more, you can play in 2v2 matches. They've got alternate rules for playing in different group sizes. But all in all, really good, cool content, and it's coming out real soon. So keep your eyes open for it. You should also keep your eyes open for 2 new source books that Peter's going to be telling us about.
Yeah, so there's a Italian RPG, and I got to admit, I had not heard of this until yesterday when I looked at the agenda. It's called Lex Arcana, and I'm embarrassed because this looks really cool. I mean, this looks like right up my alley. So it is, it's basically set in historical fantasy. So it's set in the Roman Empire, but with fantasy thrown into it, you know, so superstitions and gods and monsters and stuff like that, but Romans. And the players are playing this group of characters who are like the special forces, like the Praetorian Guard, right? And so like they know all the Roman Guard stuff, Legion stuff, but they also know magic, and they're diplomats, and they're spies, and so on and so forth. I actually kind of thought about Dogs in the Vineyard while I was reading this. There's a little Easter egg for some of you into really obscure RPGs that are excellent. So this group, as a group, you go out into the outer fringes of the empire or not, and you solve problems for the Roman Empire. Of course, where my mind went to immediately was like, oh, the Roman Empire, they're not like really the good guys. I think it'd be kind of fun to play a version of this where you hook up with the locals who are the barbarians and join forces with them against the Roman Empire. I'm sure you could do that. I'm sure somebody has done that. But I love history. So I love it when any RPG is set in history and they take some liberties of thinking about a fantasy version of that history. And so that's the game. So the news is that they have an expansions coming out that cover Italia, Dacia, and Thracia. So Italia, of course, that's like part of the Roman Empire, more depth about stuff happening right in Rome and Roman mythology and superstitions and politics and, you know, monsters and all sorts of stuff like that happening right in the seat of things, you know. So Thracia and Dacia, these are two provinces that are kind of where in the modern world, sort of northwest of the Black Sea, where Romania, Moldavia, a little bit of Ukraine is at that part of the Balkans territory. So back in the early part of AD years, Thracia was, of course, heard about a lot in Greek mythology and in Greek history. It's kind of where Constantinople is, that area. So the Thracians were wiped out by the Romans in AD 46. Dacia is a province that's just a little bit north of that, and they were taken over by the Romans in 106, 60 years later. So that's kind of the time period I expect that these books cover. So, and each of these books goes into the local history, the local culture, the local superstitions, the folklore, monsters. Yeah, always comes back to monsters, doesn't it? I love tropes anyway. So, yeah, I think this looks really cool. So if you're like me and you like history, and you know what I do, because I got my fantasy world called Chaldea, which is mostly based off of historical moments and places in time. So I'm definitely going to be taking a look at this a lot more closely when it comes out.
History was always my worst subject in school. And I think I really suffered for it. And I can see the after effects now in my fantasy writing and my D&D games. You can really draw a lot of experience and imagination from those kinds of experiences, right? And playing an RPG, what a great way to learn some of that history about how things were done back then. Yeah. Pretty cool.
I also, if I have a second here, I would like to talk a moment about Dogs in the Vineyard, because I just actually, this is the second time I've heard this name, and I found the PDF for it, and it looks awesome.
It's great.
Who is this by?
It's Vincent Baker, same guy that did Apocalypse World, who did it before that. He got a Diana Jones Award for it too. It's a great. He never uses the word Mormon, but it's set in pre-statehood Utah, and
in the desert territory. Yeah.
You work for the church, and your job is to go town to town and root out the evil.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I dropped the link in chat, so if anyone wants to take a look at it, it looks really cool. I would happily run this RPG at a moment's notice, but probably not on Gen Con TV. It does get a little bit dark.
Oh, really?
Okay, I'm gonna remember that because I might bug you about that afterwards.
Well, I feel like that's kind of the direction Gen Con's heading in anyway.
Just dark.
Well,
the Netherworld, yeah. Maybe. Okay, let's not go there.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Peter and Markus, and all of these wonderful headlines. I'm super excited for all the stuff coming up later this year, but now it's time to move on to everybody's favorite segment.
Do I have a bell or something that Bonsai? Okay, I got this. This is the closing I got.
Yay!
It's the Bundle Boss, Javion.
That's right, folks. We got some hot bundles for y'all to check out today. Bundles from Bundle of Holding. We got some RPGs, PDFs, ebooks, and even some audio files available for you at a discounted price in a bundle. The first one we have is the Eso Terrorists Bundle. It is all about the Eso Terrorists tabletop role-playing game. As an Ordo Veritatis investigator, you defend modern-day reality against occult terrorists who try to weaken the protective membrane and summon unremitting horrors from the outer dark. Ugh, I'm already creeped out. You know how much I hate horror. It also uses the gumshoe system. So if you're familiar with games like Trail of Cthulhu or Knight's Black Agents, you'll know that gumshoe is all about keeping your investigation on track. You'll never miss a clue due to a failed die roll. This revived offer is just $8.95. You get 4 titles in the Revival's player collection at a retail value of $44. That's a steal. You get the DRM free PDF ebooks, of course, and the MP3 tracks, including the Eso Terrorists core rulebook in both first and second editions, as well as the Eso Terror fact book and a whole mess of other modules to help you out. You can also level up to $18.63 for the Game Master collection. 8 more titles, an extra $75 of content. You get the Eso Terror Summoning Guide. You also get the Book of Unremitting Horror to fill out your campaigns, as well as several full-length Eso Terrorist campaigns, including the 2-part Albion's Ransom, and several more content books just for you and your horror needs. 10% of the proceeds from the Eso Terrorists Bundle goes to humanitarian aid from the International Red Cross Fund for Ukraine. As the security situation in Ukraine allows, ICRC water engineers and doctors aim to help more than 3 million people access clean water and improve the living conditions of more than 66,000 whose homes have been damaged by heavy fighting. What a great cause, and what a good reason to jump into a new RPG. Grab the Eso Terrorists Bundle from the bundle holding today. We also got a quick deal from the Bundle of Holding bundle. The Part-Time Gods Quick Deal presents Part-Time Gods, the Third Eye Games tabletop role-playing game about modern-day gods balancing their divine and mortal lives. It's inspired by popular media you'll recognize, such as American Gods, the Thor comics, the Percy Jackson novel series. It's a really cool new RPG. It's the second edition that you're getting, all for $9.95. You get all 4 titles in the starter collection, the DRM free ebooks, the core book. You also get the second edition supplements and adventures, Mythic Echoes, Infinite Sparks, and Wrath of Purity. Whew, what a mouthful. Check out the Part-Time Gods bundle if you want to grab a new RPG all about the gods. Peter, have you actually had an experience with the Part-Time Gods?
No, I will say I love American Gods as one of the inspirations for this. And of course, I love gods in RPGs. But reading about Part-Time Gods, I'm suddenly inspired. Like, I want to create a character that's a god who has to deal with otherworldly monsters and big epic things, all while trying to balance, a healthy work social life while working as a stylist at Supercuts. That just sounds like a blast.
Part-time.
I will play it. I want to be a stylist at Supercuts, and I can't let my cover be blown.
That's one of my favorite things about getting to do this show with you guys, is that not only are we spreading awareness about these really cool causes that we can just do a little bit of our part to help out with, we also are basically in a brainstorming session with each other, coming with new ideas for our stuff that we're doing on the site. It's so
exactly
cool. All right. Well, that will do it for the Bundle Boss.
Oh, wait, is there an outro song for a Bundle Boss? Do I have to hit the ding again? Is that what I forgot? I've been watching Bonsai do this for so long. There's just so much pressure. What are we going to do without Bonsai?
Oh, man. Go for it.
We're pretty much screwed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Peter. Bonsai, we miss you. I hope you're doing well.
Bonsai, come back to us, please.
Oh man. Oh, Peter, you got a taker in chat if you want to run the
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm doing it. Dogs in the Vineyard. I'd do that game.
That or Part-Time Guy.
Or the stylist character. Sorry, I'm still okay. Either one of them. We could combine them, maybe. Stylist in the Vineyard.
Oh. Yeah, let's get
Sounds
really
pretty
weird
cool.
with this. Let's
Let's
do it.
get even weirder. We're kicking it on over to the Kickstarter region. That's right. Our loyal subjects are here to present Kickstarters for your viewing pleasure. Marcus, will you tell us about the Kickstarter you've procured for the court today?
I would absolutely love to. My Kickstarter is Between Clouds. So, Between Clouds is being billed as a colorful, queer biopunk RPG about a family of misfits having to navigate the open skies atop their flying beasts. There are a lot of really cool elements of this. I'm going to drop the link in chat right now because I had it queued up, but I highly recommend looking at the art of this game. It's very, very fun. So there are these flying beasts called Kieran in this world. They have a volatile genetic code, and what happens is people are scared of these beasts. They're saying that there's propaganda saying that they're taking people, they're eating them, but in reality, a lot of the engines that these ships use in this floating, flying world are based off of the hearts that pump anti-gravity of the creatures. So they are essentially, humans are keeping themselves afloat by grabbing these giant beasts' wildlife's heart. So they are woefully misunderstood, and there's propaganda against these beasts. However, the players will take on the role of people living between the clouds, which is the name of the game. And basically they find that you could actually, like, there's harnesses, different types of roles, so you can ride these beasts and befriend them. But as you befriend them, because they have the volatile genetic code, humans kind of form a bond, a symbiotic kind of bond where they have either traits or powers linking to the Kieran that they have. So you actually can have mutations and powers and change your look and change your skill above this, and you have to live on the outskirts of society trying to let people realize that, you know, these monsters are not monsters, they're just trying to survive out here. This is running off of the Mutant Year Zero D6 based system, and it'll be live on Kickstarter until April 21st with a pledge of only $12 getting you a PDF, which will come out in 2023. So I am please look at the art of this game. The link is in chat. It is gorgeous. It looks right up my alley.
No kidding.
It's also a local to Olympia, Washington. So I want to give a quick shout out for that too.
Even better.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had me at forming a bond with a flying creature, or
Right.
even this giant dog with a friggin' saddle on its back with a bunch of my friends. And why does it have an armchair in this thing? Is it like bolted down to the ground of the saddle? That's awesome.
Yeah, I believe it's a fantasy world, so like there's no bolts. You don't have to bolt anything down. There's no OSHA regulations as far as I'm concerned. Like, but there's tons of different kinds of beasts. Like there's the there's if you go to the Kickstarter, there's the bovine, there's the ursine, different types of, like, there's dogs, there's wolves, there's cows. Like it's really cool. I love this. This looks really fun.
Like Avatar meets Animorphs.
Yes.
I was thinking Avatar too, and dogs. We just keep coming back to dogs in the vineyard. So yeah, I mean, yeah,
flying with
Smash them together.
Dogs in the
part-time god with a flying creature going town to town in Utah. That sounds good.
There's only one more note I want to make about this, which is kind of cool. This is going to be entirely printed and distributed by DriveThruRPG. This is not going to be like how they've done other Kickstarters where it's a coupon and then they print it through DriveThruRPG. This is exclusive upfront through DriveThruRPG. You need to make a DriveThruRPG account and get a digital copy of the rulebook. It's really cool. I'm excited for this. There's lots of good rewards, lots of good covers, and yeah, I just want to play this. Wait, one of the things is you can make your pet one of the monsters, one of the Kieran, the flying beasts. You can take a picture of your. Okay, where's my wallet? How do I just
so cool.
Just put this in there and.
Oh man, and it's ending pretty soon. 19 days. You got plenty of time. Actually.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you so much, Marcus.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell y'all about some Kickstarters that I have procured. And I'm gonna start with Ryuzen because I'm trying to keep it all contained, but my excitement is just trying to burst out of me, much like a phoenix from the ashes. Ryuzen. Ryuzen is a Kickstarter ending on April 8th. Ryuzen is a new board game that is all about clans and factions trying to earn the favor of a sleeping phoenix. So the Kickstarter is all going to end on April 8th. And the little blurb that they put in was that don't linger on the way. witness the awakening of the phoenix from her long-lasting slumber, making the bright beginning of a new cycle for the whole Rio. When the three moons align, prepare to hold your breath as the light embraces you and the shifting palace reaches its peak. You get to play woodland creatures in this worker placement game for 1 to 4 players. It's got a rotating central board that I really, really interested in because I've seen this kind of mechanic used before and much more, I would say more colonial sort of like colonizing or like Euro style games, whereas this is more of that sort of fantastical woodland creature kind of vibe to it. You're recruiting new members for your clan. You're reacting to new events that show up. You're meditating at different meditation temples and sites and sacred pools and things like that to earn bonuses. And you're in constant conflict with other clans trying to give them a hard time so that you can earn the blessing of the Phoenix when it finally awakens. They've got so many different game modes. So you can play solo, of course. You can play in 2-player mode, 4-player mode. You can also play in teams where you are combining the powers of your different factions to gain the favor of the Phoenix. And all the different levels of Kickstarter give you access to some bonus materials like storage materials, but also really cool miniatures. The stackable tower of the pagodas that you can find. The really interesting creatures that they have available, classic organizers, and the solo expansion mode actually comes with a 21 card rule sheet that you can get if you upgrade your backer status. So it's got some really cool card stock, some fun tiles to use, and I really love the heart that they put into the organization tools, the support for the box, so you can actually hold on to it for a while. That's something that always impresses me with the different Kickstarters that I find through here. Oh man, and you're gonna be earning a lot of victory points too because this is looking like a pretty hefty game. There's so many different components to it, so it's definitely one of those games that fits better on a big table. You got lots and lots of spread. It's got that huge table presence, great for a board game convention. Even if you're playing candlelight in the dark, deep depths of a dungeon or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Yeah, so it ends on April 8th. It looks like it's gonna be really cool, and I love the art for this.
Yeah, it's really like the thing I'm noticing about this Kickstarter specifically is the first stop, lizard with a bow and arrow. That works. That already is fine with me. But like
Yep.
you are right about the care and attention to detail put into like the sleeves, the organization. Like this looks high quality. The all the images look great. I need to buy a big table and put all of this out on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those you take pictures of, you post all of the
Yeah.
different board game forums. Yeah, so check out Rio's End, ends April 8th. My second Kickstarter here is the Aries Expedition for Terraforming Mars. Told you I'd come back to that. So, Aries Expedition, Discovery, Foundations, and Crisis. It is three new expansions for the Aries Expedition version of Terraforming Mars. Terraforming Mars is a game all about, well, terraforming Mars. You're turning Mars into a place that we could actually live at. But really, it's all about corporations finding a way to make it profitable. So you travel all the way from Earth all the way to Mars, terraforming the landscape to have natural rivers, oceans, and man-made actually, man-made oceans and rivers, but also greenery and life, building new cities for people to live in. And the Ares Expedition version actually condenses a lot of the mechanics down and shortens the game by somewhere between like 30 and 45 minutes. You can have a faster gameplay. It takes a lot of mechanics from Race for the Galaxy and things like that. The three new expansions are massive. You get awards and milestones that you might have remembered from the full game version. You also get a full co-op mode. I've never seen Terraforming Mars played co-op mode, so that's amazing to me. And the Foundations expansion lets you play with 5 and 6 players, with also new gameplay options such as more companies, starting companies and factions like that, new cities, new technologies to build, a new resource that you can actually start collecting. And you can also get a bunch of the Kickstarter exclusive storage solutions, such as the card sleeves and the upgraded box. If you got the Target version of Aries Expedition, it's a great time to just go in straight for the add-on for the base game for Aries Expedition, but get the collector's edition. I already backed this. I'm already in love with this because I already love Terraforming so much. I'm obsessed. But you can also get some really cool components like the upgraded bits, like the metal resource cubes and things like that. Everybody loves metal. Yeah. So Stronghold Games putting out the new expansions for this, and again, only 6 more days. Ends on April 8th. Make sure you check out the Aries Expedition if you like Terraforming Mars.
Yeah, get it.
All right. So that's all for my section, but Peter has 2 very, very cool, very exciting Kickstarters to show us. Go for it.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. So, yes, I have 2 great Kickstarters to check out. One is the Tome of Adventure Design. Now, you might remember a similar sounding or same name product from 2009. This is Matt Finch's masterclass work on adventure design. The original one was like 300 pages, and the new version that he's coming out with is like 500 pages of just how to design an adventure. And one of the things that he has in here, and I know this is controversial territory. I know not everybody agrees with the idea of random charts, but I love random charts. I mean, I remember the old AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide with all those charts in the back. And you could actually generate a whole dungeon that way. Don't actually advise that, but I love random adventure charts because there's just something magical about like, okay, I've got this adventure going here, and at this point, I always fess up. I just tell the players, okay, I'm going to roll randomly, see what happens, because then you know that you're kind of on the verge of like real fate, like anything could happen at this moment. And I'll even do it. Sometimes I'll be by myself, alone in my home, and I'll roll on a random chart to see what I'm going to put next in my game. I do that. And then stick to it. That's the trick. So, like, don't just roll again. Okay. So check this out. I highly recommend it. Again, Matt Finch, the new expanded version, 500 pages with over 400 charts. I don't know what's going to be in the other 100 pages, but who cares? Anyway,
that's so cool. Like I love this because like this will help people people who are interested in design and like moving forward with their design career. Like I wondered, I have a lot of friends who write for games, obviously, but like I always wondered, like, how do you do that? So this is a really good starting point for people who want to like learn adventure design, kind of narrative design stuff.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for any kind of supplementary material that helps me become a better dungeon master because I'm so I have such high standards for myself.
Yeah. Well, any excuse to roll dice too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I love random tables.
And have it mean something. Okay, I also want to give a shout out to Ken St. Andre's Kickstarter called the Monsterary. You have to Monsterary. It's like it's not a bestiary. It's a Monsterary. The Monsterary is Zimrala. Okay, now if a little history lesson for you all. Ken St. Andre is a legend in the RPG space. The second, we all know the first role-playing game was Dungeons and Dragons. The second one was Tunnels and Trolls by Ken St. Andre back in 1976. And he has now it's taken him a while to come out with all these books, but 2020 I think he came out with a reboot of Monsters and Monsters. So now Monsters and Monsters was a companion game to Tunnels and Trolls back in the day. He came out with a new version of that in 2020, and now he's coming out with a bestiary. The monster. I have to look at this word every time I go. The Monsterary. Yes, Monsterary of Zimrala. It's clever, but I'm still trying to wire that word into my brain. Okay, the Monsterary of Zimrala. So it looks like basically a monster. Of course, all original monsters, all illustrated. Can use it in any fantasy campaign. But it also has a lot of materials about the legends, and it's got maps in the world. So it's really almost like a campaign setting, but for the first time ever, a campaign setting written with the proper perspective. It's really about the monsters.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the
Monster.
the monsterary. It's a monsterary. No, it's not a monastery. It's a monsterary. It's not a monastery. Those are for different kinds of monsters. No, I'm sorry.
Mike, cut the mic. No, we are. This is really cool. I would love to just like flip through this book and look at all of the stories, the lore. I'm a big sucker for flavor text, especially when it comes to monsters in games or enemies or characters in games. I love learning about them and figuring out ways to tie that into my own narrative when I'm building a game campaign. So that's really cool. I love this.
I can always use more monsters in my games for sure. I'm sure all my players are sick of fighting wolves. I have them fight wolves or some kind of like flight based creature at pretty much every single session. And I could definitely use a little bit of inspiration. And for $15, yeah, a PDF. I could add it to my big binder of all my Kickstarters that I've collected PDFs for and printed out.
So I actually can tie this back to the beginning. Why don't you use, instead of just wolves, use wolves on skateboards?
Oh, right.
Like some kind of like fantasy skateboard. I don't think it takes that much fantasy to get a piece of wood with some wheels, but you know, like go for it.
Yeah, I used to be a skateboarder.
That's free. That's free. That's a free one for your campaign.
I would definitely love to do something like that. All right, Peter, when does this Kickstarter end?
I don't know.
You know what?
In 20 days. It's April 21st.
Okay. I'm supposed to have, okay. I'm still green. Still learning.
No worries. It's okay. We got plenty of time to back it if you're still on the fence and decide.
It closes any minute. Hurry up. Get over there right now.
It's a fire sale, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to end the Kickstarter Regent. Thank you for attending court with all of us today. And with the end of the Kickstarter Regent, it also ends the episode of TableTakes. Markus, what a wonderful job you did today. Thank you so much for joining us. I've always wanted to co-host with you because I knew just from your producing skills and your amazing voice acting skills, I knew you're going to be a great.
Peter, it was in my contract that I was going to come on here today, and no one was allowed to say nice things to me. I'm leaving.
Oh no! How do we end the show? Markus isn't here.
Oh, good point.
Okay. Well, thank you. Oh, goodness. I was gonna have to figure out how to hack the system from my apartment. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for this episode. Bonsai Noir. I hope you're taking care of yourselves out there. I'm sure we'll see you again. I don't think we're gonna see Bonsai for a little bit. While she is on her trip, but Noir, hopefully we get to see you again next week. Yeah, so stick around for Sarah's table. Today we're going to be seeing her again at 5 p.m. as usual, playing Monster Mix. RPGs don't have to be for a big group. Join host Sarah Moore and designer Adriel Wilson in a two-person game of Monster Mix, a game about coming out as a monster using the power of mixtapes. That sounds awesome. I mean, I love duet campaigns. I love one-on-one campaigns with my D&D players. So this isn't even D&D. So you get two for the price of one. Also check in on Mondays at 4 p.m. for board games with the Brothers Murphs. Join Brothers Nick and Mike as they play The Loop. Ooh. Also on Tuesdays, new show alert. We got Out of Character with Mark Tassin and guest Matt Forbeck. We're going to see an interview from a guest that maybe some of us haven't actually met before. So check that out on Tuesday at 4 p.m. And
it's so exciting to have an interview show back on Gen Con TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember being on Fireside with you. Fireside Chat. Yeah, that was really fun. So I'm glad we get to see some more of that.
And welcome in, Mark.
And also on Tuesdays, coming right after that at 5 p.m., Kathy Paints. Kathy will be exploring many variations of brown and how to mix them for boots, straps, belts, armor, wood, and antlers.
Antlers. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Antlers.
Oft overlooked.
All right. Yeah. And of course, check in every Friday here at 2 p.m. for TableTakes, 5 p.m. for Sarah's Table. Thank you to all our viewers. Thank you to Markus and, of course, Peter. So glad we had you back again this week. Yeah. And don't forget to follow us here if you want to know when we're going to be having our next episode. If you want to check in and get a notification that you know exactly when we're starting, as a reminder, And if you miss any of our programming, you can check out the VODs here on Twitch or on YouTube 24 hours later. That's going to do it for us, folks. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.